Remember. This agency. We want back.
There's the fact that it's a table, it's a sacrifice, it's all these things that it's like it's just so crazy that you would condense all these categories into this space of like in the middle, but it's like, yeah, but that's it.
Yes.
Like that's the source of reality. Like that's how you notice the convergent point of all these things. And that is what, when we look.
Oh, there's Joe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. We're in business. Oh, I'm way over here. Oh, well.
Yeah, play like we're out in the crowd.
Something like that.
That ceiling fan psyop is wild. Is wild. Spoon. Why spoon is the question. Okay. We're gonna do a sound check. Let me know if you can hear this.
Rises through immediate coping with the world. Immediate coping with the world. Immediate coping with the world. The way we are evolving the sensory motor loop, right? So that we deal with the problems at hand. Think about how this just sings to everything we've been doing here. Right?
Offer you an opportunity to participate in the Alien Salience Project.
Love.
Contextual. I'd say that the capacity for agency is similar to the capacity to manage relationships. Like the more relationships you can manage, the higher your level of agency. Well, what do you know? What do you know? Let's see if this one works. This is the latest hot, fresh Jonathan Demir.
The image, all the image of the Eucharist is like a insane condensation.
Exactly.
Say the communion meal, it's a condensation of what it means to eat together, but it's also a sacrifice at the same time, and it's this relationship between heaven and earth. Like there's the normal aspect of eating a meal, there's the transgressive aspect of eating flesh and blood, there's the normal aspect of eating bread and wine, there's the fact that it's a table, it's a sacrifice, it's all these things, and it's like it's just so crazy that you would condense all these categories into this space of, like, in the middle. But it's like, yeah, but that's it.
Yes.
But that's the source of reality. Like that's how you notice the convergent point of all these things. And that is what, when we look at the story of Christ. So one of the things I'm not going to do here, but one of the things that I've done is I'm trying to show you how, if you actually look at the story of Jesus, it's a crazy, it's an insane story. Because even if you know traditional storytelling, it's like you don't have stories where someone is like a warrior and a king and a shepherd and a worker and a monk, and he's like all these categories jammed into this one story. Like, this doesn't make sense. This character doesn't make sense. But that's the point. The point is to like grab all these story structures, all these stories of descent and ascent and all these aspects of the gods. A lot of the people that have tried to criticize Christianity will say, well, Jesus is just a copy on all these old gods. And it's like, yeah, I mean, all of them, like every single one of them, like he's all these weird like things that would never for a pagan be brought together. And it's like, well, he's Apollo and he's Dionysus at the same time. He's all these things gathered into the one. And so it's like, that's it. So it's like, you look at the image of that person on the throne, and it's like, it's that, right? That condensation, right? And it's like, and then that person, that's a condensation of all these things. He is the source, but he also ends up being the judge, right? Because he's the standard by which all the multiple aspects get, let's say, compared to, or
the through line.
The through line. There you go.
The through line is found in the multi-aspectual. Yeah, and notice, so Freud noted that a long time ago.
Steve, the Tiny TC, welcome everybody. This is the Where the Wind Blows stream with Reaping Roulette. With Reaping Roulette, yes, we can look forward to that. There's a room on our Discord they call the clip stream. You can find it in the Reaping Hall if you've got the right keys. It looks like this. It looked like this to me. And what we're going to do later in the show is just spin this wheel and see what the hive mind has brought to us before the Reapers went on strike. We'll get you some saving throws right after. What's going on? Oh, somebody forgot to put the dono link at the top and pin it there. What kind of person would do that sort of thing?
Imagine a world where boundaries blur between reality and fiction, with Mikhail Gorbachev leading the charge. Gorbachev didn't just challenge political norms, he dared to break the fourth wall in storytelling. "Tear down that fourth wall," he exclaimed, inviting us into a new era of engagement. His metaphorical call wasn't for Berlin alone. It was a clarion call to storytellers and audiences alike. Engage directly, break barriers, and foster a dialogue. Gorbachev's words echo in the halls of creativity. As storytellers, it's our turn to tear down that fourth wall, inspired by Gorbachev's daring challenge. Join us in this creative revolution. Tear down the walls that confine your stories. Share, like, and subscribe for more inspiration.
Okay, and thank you. Here we go now with the savings throws against the mind control. This stream. What are we doing? It's where the wind blows. Why did you say that? I don't remember. Reaping roulette part. We know how that's going to happen. That's the going through the clip stream you mentioned. Here's your savings throws today. The savings throws against the mind control that are everywhere, as you know. It's the spells we cast against each. We're very persuasive on the social layer, and also the advertisements directly supernormal stimuli designed to penetrate your mind. Those sorts of things are mind control, and here you get against a savings throw. Survival, social, wisdom, or heart are your choices to base your resistance to the mind control. This is what I'm going to use. My will to survive. My will to survive will resist the mind control. My social network, my friends will keep me immune to the mind control. The wisdom I've gathered over the course of the power of my heart. That's how anyway, you pick one of those, survival, social, wisdom, or heart. I roll a die. If it's over 10, you've made your savings throw. Congratulations. Half damage from the mind control, whereas normally you're always taking full damage, right? If it's under 10, you still take full damage, but at least you know you're taking damage, and it's better than it's like an anesthetic. Most of the time, you don't even know it's hurting you. Okay, survival, social, wisdom, or heart. Choose. Oh, survivalist, that's a 3 for you. This is gonna get you. We got the. But what's coming up is going to penetrate your defenses. Socialists, same with you. That's a 2. Bonuses do apply, but you better put your work in. Lovers of wisdom, you got a chakra's worth. You only need a +3. That's a replay comment, which is +5. We'll cover you there. Heart, folks, you're going to be all right. That's a 16. 16. Heart is. Oh, and indigo kids, you got chakras too. Pairing up with the wisdom kids. Welcome, everybody. This is Reaping Roulette and where the wind blows. And the wind is a-blowing. No, it's too soon for the music break. Remember, there is no agency. We want what's best. If you guys knew the bullshit in the background, poor Father Eric is going to have to help deal with, you wouldn't. You just fucking wouldn't. Good thing, Charlie. You got the heart. This is going to be the card man is continuing to write in the symbolic world notebook. And the first one says, talk about the way. All right. No, well, let's not do that yet. Let's start off with a little reaping roulette so we can have delivered on the thumbnail already. All right?
I'm not a cat.
Never said you were. Reaping roulette. Here we go. Let's see. Let us see. Let's see what the fancy pants. There we are. What fancy pants is where it lands. That one? No. This one from Upcycle Club. Oh, a pair. Let's see.
is a game called Ingress, which is about two teams, red and blue, enlightened and resistance, fighting for mind control of the human population. And it was supposedly developed by someone who left
Sylvia.
the either intelligence agencies or Department of Defense to make it. And it required people to turn their GPS devices on their phones on to play. And early on in the game, like agents who you became when you started playing the game were to submit places to be portals. And those places were like, I think the post offices were automatically a place. And then like any place there was human expression, like statues in a park, anything beautiful to draw people to, was supposedly like a portal. This exotic material came through in the game.
That's not bad. Like to get all that in 1 minute, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Hi, Sylvia. Oh, and revisit it was also part of it. That's anyway. Around the same time, I found that guy found the game Ingress, which you probably didn't hear of, as it wasn't all that popular. But when you did hear about the thing called Pokemon Go, that game was built on top of this other one called Ingress, which was what happened was a guy leaves the CIA and goes and makes this game about how the Earth is not what it seems like. That there's two sides, two factions warring for control of the minds of the planet, and you can make control areas for each one of those two teams by becoming an agent of the ingression. And the ingression is a shaper ingression. Anyway, around the same time, I found that guy found. That was our first roll of the die in our reaping roulette here on today's Where the Wind Blows stream. I'm Grimgriz and can finally click on the right frame for you to see that. Welcome. Have you noticed things? Do you notice when the things change? Do you notice in the background how much attention do you pay? We used to have a guy named C.W. Weeks around, dressed like a supervillain, but he's left us for 5 years. He used to notice things. We need a new noticer. If you're a noticer, fill out your character sheet below with the class noticer. We also have reapers, and I don't know all the ones we have, and that's the thing. We have to differentiate the classes. Oh, the mic's way over here. You have to differentiate the classes of what goes on in the underground of this content production into different skill set lobster monkeys, like a lobster monkey hierarchies. Hey, he's an editor lobster monkey. He's a poet lobster monkey. You know, that sort of thing. Those are the whatever, man.
Remember, Embody, there is no agency. We want what's best. Yeah.
All right, so the card guy wrote this in the book when I found this thing last night, and then this morning I was confronted with an output from the dragon, and they contrast each other so beautifully. I'll walk you into the first one because it came first last night, but I just wanted to point out that I'm going to be giving you a contrasting case studies, perhaps, and you know, it's going to be a fun show. Maybe it'll get there. The first part, though, you know, I know it makes people uncomfortable. It's the thing is, as it says here in the book, talk about the failed savings throws. This, for some reason, I can't pass my savings throws against this wizard of mimicry or whatever, storytelling, grifting god. This god of grift. I keep failing my savings throws against. Hey, deuces. Casino deck says we're in the deuces of clubs today. Anyway, I keep failing my savings throw against this fella, and I'm dealing with a bunch of Christians, and I can't get them to pick it apart. Can anybody help me with these saving throws against this bullshit?
When you are an observer from the outside, you have space to call to be animated by compassion. But the problem is this. The fallen ones have lured us with this hardware within us, which has been hacked, as it were, into generating an image of what we are and identifying and clinging to it. And that image is predominantly of the world and not of our origin. We are from the Christic realm. We are the light of Christ in human form. We are here. We have incarnated in a fallen world. And I am certain that interdimensional technologies that are not based on the creation of unity with Creator, but in rebellion with Creator, a hope to be God yourself, have played a role in our incarnation here. However, whilst we are here, our duty to follow Christ, to allow the Spirit to animate our intelligence and our speech, is to ensure that
Exactly, Tom. You get -3 if it's an accent, especially from a colonial.
External identities that were created by human thought do not become what we are. Israel and Palestine. Israel is a concept created by human thought.
Yeah. Everything's a social construct. You trying to get the video shadow banned with this shit?
Created by human thought. Christianity is a concept. They are all creations of human thought, and they only exist from human thought. And on a time on earth before any of these structures that we created with words and thoughts and symbols and writings, etc., and a time before they existed, humanity was still here, and we were still able to relate to the living God, the God of compassion and spirit, and it simply had no name. It didn't have the same names as others have given it with inside these religious structures, but guaranteed, if you delete the memory of humanity, of all of these religions and all of these structures and all of these nationalities, what remains is a human that is aware and a human that can unify with the living God, or can unify with the world.
Now, I like that he put a guarantee in there. That's the favorite. That's my favorite. My favorite. Now, in contrast, we also have this sort of thing.
You know, perhaps it can be done in 5 years, 3 to 5.
Wait, that part?
You know?
Really?
I mean, you get internal rewards relatively quickly, and if you're at a point in your life which is dark and where you don't have a clear direction, and you also don't know where to find that direction, because frankly, you're not going to find your transcendental self externally. You can only find it internally. So how do you do that? Well, some go into it.
That's an axiomatic presupposition I don't agree with. No, this is a hot, fresh, actual release from the guy, since like he operates on a level where I can other people don't play, which is very fun for me, and so I'm paying attention. And now you are too, if you are. But he put together this really nice piece. I wanted to debate that point, but I think more this is what I wanted to show you.
Some people smoke a lot of weed and then they feel high as in, they feel in touch with their higher self, but then, they just procrastinate and, become addicts and waste away their potential by feeling great without actually becoming great and doing great things. Basically, what I'm telling you is that my process, or this process, is the creation, the drafting, the crafting of a superheroic alter ego in order to become that superhero. Instead of becoming Iron Man or Harry Potter, useless superheroes in my estimation, because what powers do they have that you can actually copy, imitate?
You see, the beauty of this particular video is he says this shit and then demonstrates the powers of Harry Potter he has copied and used.
I mean, what's magic? What does actual magic look like? Well, perhaps this is magic. It's alchemical. It's very transformational. So think about it. I think the statement, if you don't engage in this process, I think you're missing out, which is something that I must have uttered about a month ago when I shot most of the material for this video. I think it's accurate. I think it's on point. I think you're missing out. You know, I mean, still, it's a hypothesis that this is like the individuation process. The individuation process. Performing a crazy experiment on myself.
I think Jung calls it individuation.
This process of individuation.
This is like...
This is the process he's talking about results in what you're seeing. It's a little meta.
Voldemort and his Horcruxes.
How all these factors move toward a whole, a totality.
Dark magic.
Total unity. Declaration of the final solution to the human question.
Godlike consciousness. I think if you split your mind into multiple parts and harmonize them in dramatic form, the process of doing that is itself the process of individuation. I don't know how crazy the process of producing hours of dialogue was, because it's a ping pong, a constant back and forth between two loci of consciousness, with two people at once, and you have to balance them. But when I enact them, I can only do one at a time, unless I do just audio, which I've also done. It's easier. But when I do it in front of a camera, I do like 1 hour or 2 hours of Joker, and then I do 2 hours of Dictator. And then when I edit it, man, the 2 hours of Joker I have to cut into maybe 500 pieces. And the 2 hours of Dictator I have to cut into 500 pieces. And then I have to put them together. And that process, man, I mean, it does something to your mind.
Split the ego of the poet into two by forcing them to switch between two antagonistic but complementary perspectives. The intention here is to harmonize a mind which is by nature bifocal.
You mean you want to...
But see, the mind by nature is a small world network, which I'm now going to look up and play.
Like you give people propofol, you take them out of consciousness. It's a general anesthetic. And as you bring them back in, what you can see is when they're unconscious, the brain breaks down into local networks. And then when they become conscious, it reconfigures as a multi-scale small world network. And that, of course, lines up with Tononi's theory in some pretty important ways. Or a similar way, you can, I forget what it's another anesthetic was used, and I was talking with Brett Anderson about this recently, and you bring people back, and you can see also self-organizing criticality kicking in again. And that's because the firing and the wiring actually mutually constrain each other. And you can actually do this with binocular rivalry too. So you have an image that's presented to two fields of vision, and they can't be held together. And so phenomenologically you switch between them. And then you can see the self-organizing criticality. This area is firing in synchrony, corresponding to seeing the triangle, and then that breaks up criticality, and this area fires in synchrony when you're now seeing it as the square. And you can actually track the consciousness.
LARP! We have the ability to LARP and LARP hard. LARP. We have the ability to LARP and LARP off. That was a McMo one, I think. I believe that was a McMo masterpiece. I think that was his stylistic impression, signature thereof. Okay. Well, do we have some synchronies firing in the hive mind today? It works out all together with the past self from me last night, who wrote shit on this symbolic world network thing, in that powerful book that was that close to so many of that people's, right? In physical proximity, this artifact was, eh? That's why you should have people sign them like yearbooks. Nate, somebody send this clip mail to Nate Heil at Grail Country. We need to have books like this so people that meet each other can say, hey, I met this guy, and you have all the names and signatures like a yearbook from high school, but localized down to the single event, the face-to-face Northwest Estuary you're plugging now. Oh, yes, Encountering Face-to-Face at Estuary Northwest 2024. Load page, load. Yay, share this tab instead. That's right, it's the one here. Resize your window appropriately, you noob. Okay, and encountering face to face, maybe even with this face, but definitely with the Dr. Michael Martin, Pastor Paul Vanderclay, Dr. Chris Green, Karen Wong, Rafe Kelly, look at him, he's jumping over a log, and Graham Pardoon, the poet, and those tickets are available at this Estuary Northwest 24.com. The seats left for the special super event VIP Grimm's birthday bash are of questionably low number at this point. I have to consult with Nate Heil and see how many have not been claimed from the codes released, and see how many codes remain, because we gotta put the price tag up on the final whatever's left, I think, at this point. But thanks to everybody who's going to be there. I can't disclose you because of your VIP nature. 8 of diamonds is the agency tag, but I look forward to sharing physical space with you and playing D&D and brisket barbecue, brisket and rhubarb pie.
How this could be used to allow people to connect and get past the status game. So I'm just gonna play with this right now, which is weird. It could be your CEO. It could be your boss. It could be your CEO. It could be your boss. It could be your CEO. It could be your boss. It could be your CEO. It could be your boss. Right? So that would be cool, in my opinion. That would be very cool.
All right, then this is the Reaping Roulette stream, and we're going to get to some more of that soon. But first, let's power through what's in this written book here, and go back to how I keep failing the savings throws against this Yahoo. And when I say such, it's like such that the cosmological background of the way reality works, as explained in this delusion of genetic human engineering by aliens rather than evolution from monkeys, it reflects accurately the world I perceive around me more than the counter narratives I get from others, except now that they're starting to include demons. Anyway, so that's what I mean by I failed the savings throws. is like, what do you believe? I don't know, but as far as I can tell, it seems like this higher beings gave us farming as the biggest look. If we tell you we're doing it, then you go along with it, we get more points, because they've been farming us the whole time, and mostly visibly to everyone in the Blue Church, even as a human labor force. As I think what really got Louis C.K. canceled was his bit on how we accomplish everything by throwing human suffering at it. That was true of the breeder labor force, but now they have robots, you see. But there's on every level, the farming is creating a garden, growing things, harnessing and eating life is our nature. Blue Church deck card of the show, 6 of diamonds. That's a lot of diamonds this stream.
I believe that if everyone sees what just a few people become when they wholly embrace their gifts, others will awaken.
Engineered by fungi. Maybe, there's a case to be made. Let's hear some more of the bullshit that I don't beat,
As its identity. If you delete every religious memory from us all, that is still the process that the 5 senses will take the awareness within it through. And as that process begins, we may create religions to describe this unified presence with spirit and creator. And then what happens is that people's minds come in and make an image, not out of the process of unification with creator, but out of the writings of that which was pointing towards that. What is the point of any religion if not to unite a man here and now so that he makes the right compassionate action? And humanity is fallen. We don't have that compassion available to us. It must come from a supernatural connection, which is the spirit, the spirit of God's love, the Christic dimension, open with us. If that is open, you will feel stimulated to tell your fellow man, you won't believe what I found, and this is why you are behaving like this. You're creating war, you're betraying people, because you haven't opened this connection to Christ or to the source code programmer. And so you start writing, trying to explain to people how to get there, and it's...
who is the guru? Yes, this is Baba John St. Julian Baba Wanyama. Baba Wanyama is what we call him around here. But in contrast, let's see if we can find the part. Let's see if we here. Let's do some. Just play some more of this. Fine. My thing on consciousness is that it's a napkin ring, a spinning napkin ring, and like while it's spinning, you can wobble more left or wobble more right as far as in your brain. So I don't know how that maps to your model, but that's what consciousness is for me.
Yeah, but what you're saying is what consciousness is, and you're trying to model what consciousness is. I'm trying to model what consciousness does. And
Well, what? What? Hi. I'm the sort that thinks there's something beyond this, and that when I get to the other side of what this is, I'm going to be going around to a lot of people going, I remember what you did down there. I remember. Shame on you. But let me spend a lot of time thinking about this, and like you have.
The reason I'm running this clip collection from Navy Nibs that made is because our good friend the Dragon is speaking on how not them, this one, and the chat got there. This fella.
Dialogues, and that all feeds back into you, and then you watch the final product and it feeds back into you, with the music and the visuals and the effects and so on. It feeds back into you. So clearly what I have entered, same as any writer, same as anyone who puts down anything and then reflects on it, that is consumes what they have expressed, digests what they have expelled, I enter into a feedback loop. And it's a very powerful feedback loop.
I mean, Eric Havelock.
My point being collections that are put together by other people, such as Navy Nibs, with these collection of timestamps left in the comments.
Ask yourself questions like, how is it we can exist in the world where the food is mostly poison? How does it play out that that's okay on the spiritual level? And the thing I've come to,
and of course those like with Dumir, who puts beautiful music and other visuals too, and the work of South of Sunrise that does it. You make the claim that the transformation can only come from eating your own feces over there in your video beats writing thing, Mr. Dragon.
It's a theory, but the way video feeds back into you as you edit, as you watch the final product, and as you compile final products, final content, is very, very self-transformative. So I'm saying video production is a self-transformative process, is a technology of self-transformation, is a technology of poetic / mediatic self-engineering. And we don't know to what level we can.
I am just making the claim that there's another process of throwing yourself on top of the fourth wall to a hive mind is also a process of self-transformation. And I've been in touch with Magic. She exists and then dances still. She still dances. Let's do some reaping roulette right after this obligatory music break. You ever realize you still need to get up and get a drink while there's only 15 seconds left on the last branding? Okay, and now for here another round of the Reaping Roulette on the Reaping Roulette Where the Wind Blows stream for June 10th, 2024, where we go visit the Magic Discord and show people the thing, and we spin the die to see, well, not the die, we spin the wheel and see where it lands in the offerings of the hive mind. That have taken the form of clip reapers, as we call them. They find the great little nuggets and collate them, much like old homeboy from the This feller does all by himself. All by himself. We come together and do it like a Voltron. Like a Voltron. And they're spinning the roulette wheel. We find. Not looking. You're not looking. You're spinning, and it's spinning some more. Back both ways. You never know. And here. When the LARP flips from Mills 8102.
Of those now imprisoned and their supporters, like the delusional cucumber shaman, still believe they were players in the insurrection LARP. But the heavily armed far-right militiamen among the LARPers were all too real. This is what civil war warns against, not the horrors of war, which are quite clear, and not even the threat of tyranny, but that both war and tyranny will explode from treating democracy as a spectator entertainment, that the participants will lose track of the kayfabe, and the culture war LARP will turn into a violently real civil war. Of those now imprisoned and their supporters, like the delusion.
Well, is that the sort of mind control you try to give people savings throws against, Grim? Yes, it is. Thanks to this reaping roulette, we got to revisit it. We got to do that level of recursion, Mr. Dragon Man. Mr. Dragon Man. Okay, now we have some synchronicities from earlier. We're going to revisit by the power of Streamlabs. Referral link below. I've been able to star those comments. One such was the Ko-Fi link has no goal slit, and that is true. That is true because the process I was going to lead down this beautiful notebook here says 40 days in the desert grift, and then something else, and so 40 days. Oh, look, a super sticker. Heck, check that out. I don't know what those are nice. Those are nice. Okay, and hard LARP for me, but not for thee. Oh, okay. You hate which guy? Which guy? Damien. What? Oh, that Damien fella. Me and him need to argue about Dunes. We need to argue about Dunes. Happy birthday to Alcoholics Anonymous, which is actually part of the 40 days in the desert grift. You see, because the thought came to me, man, I wish I was an alcoholic. Because it would be so much easier to grift to get off of alcohol rehab than what you'd like to do, Grim. And what you would like to do is to be locked in a room in the desert with only water for 40 days. And you have to arrange care of Kayfabe and Sylvia, Buddy, and Penny. And also secure the funds to be locked away in 40 days. But wouldn't it be awesome if you could grift that and have it happen before you end it? Is there still 40 days before the event in September? We're running out of time. But if you could be and because we got a bunch of Christians around here trying, hey, which church should you go to? And then we got this other guy, this fella here.
Very difficult with words to establish that the connection is now or it's never. Only will a man know the love of God here and now, or he will never know it. That's the beauty of grace. You don't have to work towards it through a linear progression, etc. It's here. The working towards it animates the hardware of the fallen nature, and the frequency is distorted, and you don't get the connection. And yet then people have come in.
The preaching, like I tell you, the background about people, alien entities, demons feeding on our negative energy, that makes sense to me. But the bit he sells really to me that I haven't bought yet is that if you clean your antenna, you can feel God. And to clean your antenna, the best way is the 40-day water fast, which, as I understand it, is, except that there was no water, is kind of what that Jesus guy did. And as far as all the people choosing a church are telling me, he is the way and the truth and the life. And if he is the way, then maybe what he did is the way, and the 40-day water fast is that, and that, or a 40-day fast. What if I don't do water? And then I see if I die. See if I can live through 40 days of nothing like the Christ. Anyway, this Baba Wanyama fella sells the notion if you pull that off, you clean your antenna and you can feel God. And wouldn't it be great to feel God? And not so I thought, hey, I'd like to do that. And that's why I hadn't said the Kofi Grift goal yet, Ups, because I don't know how much that's going to cost, but that's the goal. That's the new goal we're going to set. If you can find, there it is. There it is. You're not sharing it. Are you sharing it now? No, still not. That's our new goal. That's our new goal is 40 days in the desert. 40 days in the desert. And since it involves somebody taking care of the animals for 40 days, let's say the target amount is going to be $400. No, 4,000 to 4. I don't know. Let's start with $1,000 and see if anybody cares that much. Let's pretend we have a starting amount, whatever. Let's just say it was 100. We're very positive thinking today. There we go. And then we'll do the description later. But there we have the new goal set up. I've taken care of that, sir. Here's the copy of it. Oh, geez, this is great entertainment. Player branding, at least, man. All right, fine.
But he's overcoming something rather than, a true marksman will look at the arrows available and say, if I want to hit the target, I'll pick the best arrow so that I can hit the target. A true marksman might say, all of these arrows are crap. This arrow is at least crappy in a way that I can work with. But he's overcoming something rather than, a true marksman will look at the arrows available and say, if I want to hit the target, I'll pick the best arrow so that I can hit the target. A true marksman might say, all of these arrows are crap. This arrow is at least crappy in a way that I can work with.
Okay. And the next thing written in the notebook says, pray for it, ? Because, it's very asking if you shall receive. It's kind of like a wish spell in D&D. You want to be very, very careful. If that is how reality works, according to Christ our Lord, that if you ask for it, you shall receive it. Maybe you should be very, very careful and very serious when you ask for something. And so, you don't want to just phrase it, dear Lord, please lock me up in the desert for 40 days so I can clean out my system. You got to be very careful with how. So maybe not pray for it. Maybe just play some more for Reaper Roulette and deliver on the thumbnail at least one more time. Let's not spin the wheel. Let's show them what's on the board, because you remember that the last 3 or so were awesome, and when strung together, if you could make the thing work, you can't. There it is. All right, back to the clip stream. Back to showing you people. Okay, no, back to showing you people. The newest, let's see, these three. Oh my God. See, because he said, oh my God, what have we done? I had to look. It's by Tunji, who has made his first clip. Here's how to play along, Reapers. And let me know if you need your keys. Ladies and gentlemen, a live demonstration of how you make a clip on the YouTube with the magical clip tool. If it's good stuff, you should also record it somewhere else, because they disappear.
If you can't, greatest irony of this is seeing and
moral theory
reactive. Is if you can't sort of educate in your distinctives, what you're going to have is what you have in broader evangelical. What you're going to have is what you have in broader evangelicalism, which tends to be fairly shallow formation, fairly shallow knowledge. Things are predominantly mimetic and reactive.
Evangelicalism.
Broader
You should have said that louder while you were typing it there, Grim. Oh my God, what have we done? And then,
when Paul Vanderklay's name will be long forgotten, when we have gravestones that no one will pay any attention to or put flowers by anymore. The fruit of Living Stones, the Freddie and Paul Show, TLC, in my opinion, will go on for eternity. So, small is not a bad thing. Small is not a bad thing. There have been megastars throughout the ages that you don't know their names. And some of the people that you listen to or read or hear from or hear about, hardly anybody in their day knew them. Do not judge value and importance by what you see in this world. When Paul Vanderklay's name will be long forgotten.
You're too right-brained. You are too literal.
Literal catch. A literal catch. Ups. Man, you just saw how painful it was for me to go through and set a goal, and now I gotta go move the goalpost. My God, man, thank you so much. And someone, and Hezi as well, thank you very much. It's I guess we can try and make 40. We need actual responsible people to figure out the cost and how we're gonna get somebody to take care of these animals for 40 days. That's the big question mark. Putting me in the desert part, that's pretty straightforward. Wow, fellas, that's amazing where the wind blows in the crypt. It's kind of like you guys are. Special thanks to the Shadow Cabal. So say we all.
The list? Yes, any of the first level ones.
I'm gonna get a soda. Anyone want one? Hey, Graham, I'm not in the room, right?
What room? I want to cast Magic Missile.
The room where he's casting all these spells from.
He hasn't cast anything yet. I am, though, if you'd listen. I'm casting Magic Missile. Why are you casting Magic Missile? There's nothing to attack here. I'm attacking the darkness.
Thank you very much, a person for the new donation. It will be included in the preset amount as we move the goalposts of the crypt. Thank you, folks. Thank you. Well, look at that. All right. There's more. There was another synchronicity earlier. Michael said the German philosopher fella is summoning background processes like a true warlock. And earlier on the in the day right before the stream, added as the last bit on the page we have for today is embodied meatopa, which is I wanted to go into, like, the notion of a tulpa is you create a thought form that's distinct from yourself. It's like when Hermes steps in, except you make it and then sever yourself from it and let it run as an operating system. And it's how you can make changes in your life by essentially you make a pattern interrupt. It's like every time I do this, I want this thing to remind me of this, so I don't do that. And that's it. That you make a little tulpa, and that seemed to be what the German philosopher was doing when, as Michael says, he summoning background processes like a true warlock. And I thought that was a little synchronicity. Let's see if he's talking about it more here.
And take it unless we experiment with it, which is what I'm doing here. If you don't self-edit, if you don't think about it. He's not gonna drop it, is he? If I write myself down, then I embody myself, then I edit it, then I consume it, and then after consumption, I compile it, which is also an editing process. It's a defragmentation process. I mean, think about it. Think about it. Come on. It's deep. It's very deep. It's very deep.
My argument is that with the power of this technology, it's better if you do that rather than sitting in your home making 800 little guys inside yourself. You just put one forward on top, like splay it upon the fourth wall, and see what what those externalized lights of images of the creator help make you of you, because I am what you say I am. Right? Something like that. Wow. I'm just amazed right now. I'm occupied. Mike, Hezzy, someone, a person, ups. Man, I'm sort of blown away at the moment by this Where the Wind Blows stream. Let's play Reaping Roulette one more time. One more time before we make an end of it. There's the thumbnail for it. You share this tab instead. You show this tab instead. And then you roll on the roulette. Let's roll up hard. Let's roll the dice, bouncing very far, back a little, then more farther, some more, down some, and then how about here?
Now again, there's sort of a desire to have Twitter is not the place to have a fight. People don't fight on Twitter. Make your statement, maybe one response, and then leave it be. Just don't go back and forth. It never goes anywhere. Now again, there's sort of
and that
crappy.
Yeah, people really just can't, by and large, handle the level of lies upon lies that our society, like, there's so much about everything, and this is just a meta point for a second.
Yeah.
That there's just so much about ordinary life in our society that it's just layers upon layers of fraud as the normal.
Yes.
That it's just breathtaking for people to even, I mean, I do this for a living, is to look at all the fraudulent groupthink around our society that I think are the biggest touch points that hold us back and hinder our minds and lives. And I go all over the place with it. But when you just step back and look, I mean, your car has a problem. You've got planned obsolescence all the way through, you know what I mean? The whole thing. And then, like every little thing you look at has like just fraud baked into fraud.
Special thanks to Clint for that great one. Welcome. We hope you're feeling virtually not alone. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Most of that gets you a savings throw bonus. I've been Grim Grizz, and it's been over an hour, and I'm verklempt from your generosities and also tired. So,